Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Fortress Comic News, episode 407. I am one of your hosts, Chris, alongside my co-host here, Mike.
Hey.
What's going on, Mike?
Nothing much. You know, we have a guest on the show that's a fan of magic, a fan of Dark Souls, plays guitar, a fan of Evil Dead, and it's not me, Chris.
I know, I brought a guest in for a book I liked, and then you two just became best friends.
Yeah, I was like, he started naming off stuff like, we can't talk about this all day, but yeah, we Alan Dunford on the show this week, and you know, we're talking about his book Horus in Hell #3 coming out. Really cool book that I just found out about when we got on the show, so something I'll be backing and looking forward to. Other than that, anything else going on comic book related for you?
So I just got like a bunch of manga and trades came in, because like new stuff came in these past couple weeks, so I've been trying to read like a bunch of random stuff, and I'll be excited to talk about it next week. But dude, I started that Mr. Mega Man manga. Did you hear about this?
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Oh my god, it's phenomenal.
Is it really?
Like, honestly, I'll wait till I finish it to really have final thoughts. I would not recommend it to anyone. But for me, it's just like, it's so wacky and crazy about an IP that I absolutely love that I'm having such a blast, dude.
That's
like,
so funny. Yeah.
Because it's Mega Man all grown up, and like Dr. Light's retired. So then Dr. Wily's just like, well, he retired, so fuck it, I'm done with world domination. And
well, Mega he's Man not into it, I'm not.
Mega Man becomes a dentist.
Oh my god! Wait, what? Does he still use his blaster?
Yeah, so he can use the different powers to help with his dental work.
Holy shit!
He's got the little drill.
He's
like
got
an
Inspector Gadget.
Power. Yeah.
Oh my god!
And then it's him meeting up with all the old robot masters and being like, "What are you doing now?" And
that sounds amazing, actually.
I'll just give one away. The whole issue with, so there's 13 stories in it, and they're like they're basically short stories.
Okay.
And the one with Top Man. It's all about, they don't use Beyblade, but he's talking about Beyblade. It's all about how he hates Beyblade because it ruined his shtick.
So a way cooler version of him.
Yeah, so then he ends up like attacking the Beyblade headquarters.
Oh my god. That is the Top Man story I want to read.
Dude, and then I found out that I thought it was like a one and done thing, like it'd be this funny little thing. No, Volume 2 comes out in a few months. So bring on the wackiness.
And it's a manga, right?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That sounds amazing.
Hopefully I'll finish it this week, and we'll be talking about it more next week. But yeah, dude, that fucking book. I'm
gonna make a shameless plug because finally my 4-page comic got posted online. We had the lovely guest on the show from Bentbox Publishing. They have their Bentbox shorts on Global Comics now. And their 4th Bentbox short on Global Comics, Bone Graft, is up, and that's a script I wrote over a year ago. It was supposed to be in a horror anthology. R.H. Stewart, amazing artist. It's up now, and it's free, everybody. So if you go to Global Comics, you go to Bentbox Publishing and their shorts section, they have my book up there, and it came out great. They even made a little cover for us just to put it on their website and get it out there. So really appreciate them doing that. So
yeah, dude, that's awesome. I will be putting that in the show notes for everybody.
Oh well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Chris. And it is, I will say, when we talk all these writers and artists, man, like, because I know you've written stuff too, and obviously you have. I mean, you write a Kickstarter and you had the issues with your artist and things. It's hard to like when you're writing and like you're trying to make stories, and I mean it's a daunting task alone just writing a script. But then like when you submit a project and it's going to happen, or you think it's going to happen, and then it's like months and months go by, it like kills your, like you have a lot of steam and then it just kills it. You know what I mean? Where you're like, I haven't written anything else. I've written a couple scripts when I wrote this one. I haven't written anything else since. So like now that it's online, I'm like kind of like getting back into the mood to start writing again, which I want to be writing more as like a hobby. I think it's good for me, but it's just like, damn, it's like soul sucking.
Dude, I'm trying to get back into more creative writing because all my writing's been like for the show or for Substack or whatever. But yeah, dude, that short story I did for Gibbs anthology,
Travis Gibb, yep.
That was written a year before anyone got their hands on it.
Yeah, right. So you just kind of
I had that in my back pocket for like 6 months before anyone even knew that was a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like sometimes you just throw something out there and you wait in the ether. And unfortunately, the anthology I was going to be on, I think there's some issues with the guy who was running it with some personal issues. So hopefully it gets put into something else. But it's available online. People can read it. And honestly, I felt bad for the artist because R.H. Stewart, you check him out on Twitter, amazing artist. He does a lot of Kickstarter campaigns for really cool Alien Terminator art. Like he does tarot cards. He's starting his own publishing company. He's an amazing artist, and I think he deserves all the credit. This dude did these pages for me and didn't take a dime. So, such a great guy. He lives in Great Britain, and yeah, it's just the deal didn't end up working out that we were on. So
it's funny too. Speaking of my story in that broke down Four Dead Bodies anthology, I based the whole story around the Eagles' Super Bowl 52 victory.
Well, here we go.
And they're fucking back, Mike.
They're back, baby. You just manifested it with you're like, if I'm gonna write it, it's gonna happen.
I did. Yeah. So I'm super excited.
Yeah. That's awesome. So, I'm happy for you. It's I hope they win. And it's gonna be a good time.
I mean, my buddy and his family are all Eagles fans, so every Eagles Super Bowl we go and spend it with him.
Nice.
It's gonna be my girl's first Super Bowl, and she's all like decked out now and
hell yeah. Gear. She's gonna paint her face and stuff.
I've warned her, like I've set you up for a lifetime of anger.
Yeah. This is what's gonna be. Yeah. It's gonna be like 1 week. It's the best team in the league. Oh, they fucking suck.
It's funny because this happened, and yeah, it's like she's like my good luck charm this year because they made it. And when they made the last one, it was when I started dating when we moved in together with my ex. And her and her son were like my good luck charm that year, so hopefully that transfer's over. But
now you broke the curse. you have new good luck charm.
I got a better one this time.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
All right, I guess we'll just jump into the news. Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man's on Disney Plus. The first 2 episodes, I think. Have you watched them at all?
No.
Okay. Is it a show you're gonna watch? You just
maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything about it, but So he was getting a lot of flack. Hudson Thames. I don't know. It's a weird name. I hate it. He made a lot of headlines because he said when he did the he does the voice of Spider-Man, but he said he's coming off some recent online controversy because he put a full quote in saying, "I thought it was awesome. I mean, my biggest fear that it was going to be annoying and woke, and it wasn't. I was like, yes, this is great. It's so well written. Like, it feels real." He's the oldest of 5 boys, so I feel kind of know what's happening in their lives in high school. It felt like it was doing that justice. Okay. I mean, you're the voice actor you're the main character to show doing these voice lines, and you come out and you're like, first off, if it's your own project, you want to be like, this is the great. I mean, even like the James Gunn thing, right? He says everything's the best thing just to get people to go watch it. But I really think after seeing this, he was just kind of like trying to get people to know who he is.
I think when you see the quote in context, it's him talking about it like entering the project when he got the call.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. I like most things, I think people make a bigger deal of this than it is.
Yeah.
I don't hold any judgment for anything until I actually see it. So I won't say anything. I will say it's a whole lot of woke tropes going into this fucking thing, though.
Yeah.
But I don't even know what that... At this point in my life, I'm like, what does that word even fucking mean anymore? Because I feel like anything someone doesn't like online, it's like, well, it's woke.
Yeah. I mean, there's all this connotation associated with it. There's this fake war on woke going on. It's like stupid.
There's fake war on woke and there's fake war on Nazi, and it's just like, everybody shut the fuck up. Like, just put out your thing. Is it good? Is it not? That's all I want to know.
Yeah, and that's why I think he knew he was going to trigger some people when he said it. I had like...
Well, you had to, but that doesn't... I mean, I don't want to say that it was strictly him getting attention because I don't know that. This could be how he actually felt, and that's, everyone's allowed to have their feelings or whatever. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. It was a weird thing. I was actually stunned because normally it goes the other direction, like where they would be bragging about how woke it is.
Yeah.
So when I saw the quote, I was like, "What the fuck?" And it was one of the few times where I'm like, "I'm actually going to read deeper into this."
Well, I won't be surprised if he doesn't come back. If Disney's like, "All right, we're done with this guy."
I don't know. I think we're in an era of a lot of that stuff is starting to dissipate, and
we'll see.
And it's not as big of a.
And I don't like he's saying that, but again, I don't think it's a big enough problem. It's not even a problem. Like this isn't a problem that anybody has to worry about. And I think it was just now we know who the hell Hudson Thames is, because before that I was like, who the hell is this guy?
Well, it comes back to something I've said for a long time when it comes to these kinds of controversies. If you just like didn't make a big fuss about it, nobody would know.
Yeah.
So let's say he was hateful and he did mean to put people down or whatever. Then just don't say his fucking name.
Yeah. Right.
And it goes away.
Yeah. But
then you don't have to be angry. I'm not saying you, Mike, but royal you. You don't have to be angry. You don't have to be upset. You don't have to worry. Just enjoy the thing and move on.
But people want the clicks. They want the views. They want
the problem.
Yeah. That's it's
the
world we live in now.
So I don't blame the companies for putting out the header or the image that said like annoying and woke. I blame the people who then get all pissy about it on X and are like, what the fuck is he doing?
Yeah,
if you just keep scrolling, man, your life moves on.
Yeah.
It's really that easy.
Just bigger
and then,
things.
Or don't say anything. Watch the show.
Yeah, just watch the show and make your own judgment.
Because you know what?
That's a wild
Disney wants those views more than anything.
Yeah, right.
There could be 1,000 people. There could be 1 million people complaining about how woke their shit is. And if that show gets 10 million people watching it, they'll let those million keep talking, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just nobody cares.
Again, any publicity is good publicity.
Yeah. That being said, you have a hard time for me saying that. Like I said, I will hold judgment until I watch it if I watch it. But like when I started seeing all the characters that they just like swapped, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Again, I'm not like, I don't really care about Spider-Man that much to begin with. So.
I don't either. So I'm not sitting here saying I'm on my fucking high horse all mad about it. But like, I almost felt like when I saw that and then I saw this quote, I was like, he probably feels like he has to say something like that because just based on all that looking outside in, you're like, yeah, I see what you're doing, Disney.
Yeah. Plus, Disney's done in the past where they just push that stuff and don't actually push the story. So
yeah, but here's the thing. Yeah, this is the thing. If it's good, nobody gives a fuck.
Yeah, no, you don't need to say any of that stuff.
Because at the end of the day, I've been trying to say it for fucking years now. All the people out there are mad about woke. You're not mad about woke. You're mad about bad storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you're mad about.
Yeah.
Understand your argument, calculate it correctly, and we can have a productive conversation.
Yeah, instead of just screaming at the sun with your fist in the air.
Yeah, and you just and listen. I can bring up other topics where in other political sides where it's the same way, but just understand what you're really mad about, and let's talk about that. But we'll see. I might watch it this week to see how annoying and woke it is, Mike.
Yeah, right. So then you can shake your fist at the sun.
Yeah, so I can sit here and just...
Why are you so bright?
Text you and be like, the lizard's a chick, and she's black.
Oh my god. Can you imagine? Those people don't exist. What the hell?
I will just say, though, to any production company out there, like, do it to 1 or 2 characters, fine. Fucking 90% of the cast seems to be swapped, man.
Yeah.
It was like everybody but Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And I was just like, you're kind of begging for it at this point.
Right.
But fuck it. If it's good, I won't care.
They could have went the Sunshine Superman route and just did a whole alternate reality where they're like 70s disco crew with like an afro and stuff, which is awesome. I love that shit. Like,
so there's this video that came out. It wasn't supposed to be funny, but it is funny because there's ignorance about when this first started popping up. I was like, nobody cared when the villains were turned black, and they started going through the list, and I'm like, well, nobody really did care about any of these, but okay. But they went through, and one of them was Lex Luthor from Justice League Unlimited.
Okay.
Have you watched that?
The cartoon?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
He's not black.
No, he's not.
But then it ends with the original Suicide Squad movie, the bad one.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes, and they made Killer Croc black. And I was like, well, now you're just an idiot because the world champion Killer Croc Morgan has always been black.
Yeah, that
that's
just
why
means
it's
you
funny.
Yeah.
That Batman dresses as him in the seminal episode where they play poker.
Right.
Because now I can make Batman blackface jokes.
Yep.
But it's just the ignorance all around. But yeah, let's talk about John Irwin.
Yeah.
Now
let's bring everybody down with some sad news. Yeah, so longtime voice actor John Irwin passed away at the very, very I would say ripe age of 88. So he had a long life.
We could all be so lucky.
Yeah, right. He had many roles. He was Reggie in the Archie cartoons, some live action stuff. He was in Back to the Future Part 3 or Babe. But is best known for his Prince Adam / He-Man in the 1983 cartoon He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. Had no idea. I guess I didn't realize he did both. Because He-Man was such like an iconic voice in the 80s that I didn't realize that Prince Adam was also him.
Yeah, he's also Beast Man.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all. This dude started like that is one of the. I mean, it's like the cartoon that started it all for fantasy, for magic, and like that was such an iconic voice. By the power of Grayskull, you know what I mean? Like that's so epic, and for him to be immortalized like that is so cool.
Yeah, that show runs on. I think it was Josh Baylock who was talking to me about it. Mm-hmm. There's a 80s cartoon nostalgia that was different from like any other nostalgia.
Yeah,
and he was referring to G.I. Joe, but He-Man fits in that very well
for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't like those cartoons personally. I didn't grow up with them, so hitting them later in life, they just didn't hit the same way.
Yeah, it's when you're coming back to it, it's kind of weird.
Yeah,
I will say, yeah,
I have heavy nostalgia, Mike, for the movie Babe.
Oh,
especially Babe 2.
Oh yeah, and directed by George Miller. Babe 2 was.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Are you ready for those facts? Chris is going to go to the internet and find out. Is it Babe? I think it's Babe 2.
in the City. I forget. Oh.
Yep. Is it George Miller?
This fucking movie. It is indeed George fucking Miller. Yeah. Holy fuck.
Let me shed some news on you guys today. Yeah, George Miller, the infamous Mad Max and Fury Road director, directed Babe 2.
This explains
so much.
So much. He also
did
was a producer on Happy Feet.
Yeah, okay. He was a producer on Happy Feet. But dude, that was like the last thing he did before he went to Fury Road. So people are like, is this dude okay? Like, is he going to be... And he just fucking went to the desert for, I don't know, a year, filmed Fury Road, and came out with like the most action-packed movie of the year. He's insane. Yeah.
That's hilarious. Yeah, he literally... Oh no, he was a director on Happy Feet. So he did Babe, Pig in the City, Happy Feet 1 and 2.
Then fucking Fury Road.
And then disappeared for 4 years.
Yeah, and came back and did Fury Road. And everybody's like, what the hell? Yeah. Doesn't that blow your mind? He might be one of the best directors of all time just for that alone.
When did his Justice League movie fall apart?
Oh, dude, yeah.
I still really want to do a
table read.
Yeah, or a dramatic like audio podcast.
Yeah, about it. That script is out there.
2007.
I was gonna say early 2000s. Yeah, because I remember reading it in college. I remember reading the script.
Yeah, I've read this in a while, but then just the first thing on the wiki is like loosely based on the comic book storyline. JLA Tower of Babel. Come the fuck on.
Yeah. What? Yep. There was some things that made it into like Man of Steel that was in that script of like Maxwell Lord, I think, gets his neck snapped by Wonder Woman or something. I think she kills him. I think she snaps his neck, like in Man of Steel when he snaps Zod's neck. So there's a lot of stuff that like came about there,
dude.
Yeah, George Miller, what a fucking icon.
You know what killed that movie?
What?
Fucking Writers Guild of America strike.
Oh,
Goddamn writers wanting money.
Plus, I think Armie Hammer was in it, and that dude was like had some crazy shit going on. I think he was a cannibal at one point. I don't know what that guy's problem is.
Dude, you want to talk about crazy?
Yeah.
So in the background when I'm doing stuff, I have been having Entourage on.
Oh yeah.
And I turn my head and I'm like, holy shit, it's Harvey Weinstein. Holy shit, that's Danny Masterson. Holy shit, there's a lot of rapists in the show.
Yeah. That's the entertainment business. Right?
And then so my lady, I was talking to her about this, and then like literally today, I was doing something that's in the background. Diddy shows up.
Yeah.
And
I was like, wait a second.
Yeah. And then I was like, she's like, man, that's like, it's getting pretty extreme, the amount you're pointing out. I was like, yeah. And then I Googled Entourage sexual harassment, and then just like half the cast.
Oh God. Oh man.
Yeah. Show.
Yeah. The show is great in its own context, but
I'll still watch it. But
yeah, I think its failures is it's just part of an industry that is so corrupt. Right? It's like, that's crazy.
John Irwin.
Good
job.
Yeah, good job. Good on you, man.
R.I.P. in peace.
Condolences to his family, friends. And I kind of want to watch the old school. Oh, I wanted to bring something up. Speaking of old cartoons, before we're in the movie section now, folks. I went and watched the Lord of the Rings movie, the animated one from the 70s that you told me was on HBO.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a few takes of it. I don't think it was necessarily bad. I think it was okay. It was a very weird choice to have live action actors alongside animation, which was some of those scenes with the dudes running and the flashing lights. I'm like, this is a fucking fever dream, and somebody was on acid when they shot the scene. I
definitely was nowhere near high enough to be watching this movie.
And the choice of the face for some of the hobbits, I'm like, they did not need to make Samwise Gamgee that fucking ugly. Like, like that poor guy. That poor guy. It was like, what the fuck? Also surprising to see some of those shots, and I know it's from the books, but some of those shots, cinematography from that animated movie are shot for shot. Like, there's some tribute shots from that to the live action Peter Jackson movies, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. So that was pretty cool to see. Yeah, I would say if you're a Lord of the Rings fan, you got to watch it just to be like, wow, that was an experience.
Did you sneak your way over and just look at The Return of the King?
No. So there was more than one movie, or is this just this?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it's originally supposed to be 3 movies. They released the first 2 books as one, and then there's a Return of the King movie.
Oh, okay.
Made by a completely different company.
Uh-huh.
And you'll tell right away, because just the art direction is so jarring and how different it is.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. And then we also watched The Hobbit, so like that's even more different than
completely.
They're all just their own thing. Yeah,
they're all just completely different.
It's not like today where they would have made all 3 and they would have been like a very cohesive art direction for each.
Like none of them make sense.
It's like no, just here.
Yeah, and like the weird actors mixed with animation is just so strange to me. It was such a weird choice.
The strange choice for me was the orcs.
The orcs, yeah, with the mask and the
and they're always like in the dark, so you don't see them fully.
Yeah.
It's weird,
yeah, they're like running in place. It's strange.
Enjoyable.
Yeah, it's something. Yeah. Okay, now actual movie news. IDW Entertainment, along with Spooky Pictures, that's not a real company. That is a shell corporation. Announced that they will be adapting the hit horror comic Dark Spaces Dungeon from writer Scott Snyder and artist Hayden Sherman. Spooky Pictures co-founder Steven Schneider said that about the project. There's no shortage of serial killer stories in the marketplace. The challenge is finding one that is both terrifying and goes to places we haven't seen before. Dungeon is it. We're instantly gripped, and I couldn't put it down. And even as longtime fans and producers in the genre, we found ourselves haunted by what we read. This is our Silence of the Lambs, and 7.
Mm-hmm.
And we can't wait to unleash it on audiences. Don't say that stuff. Do not say those things. And I'm saying this, Silence of the Lambs and 7 are iconic thriller, noir, serial killer, investigative movies. And those are also a product of the time and innovation for that type of storytelling and movie. You don't need to say that.
It just reeks of like, oh, look how much we love this thing.
Yeah.
And okay.
Yeah. I mean, good on Scott Snyder for getting into the big pictures here, on the big screen. So I think that's cool. I haven't read the book.
Yeah, so. Right. And I'll just say, if I was to start a horror movie business, I would name it Spooky Pictures because I think it's stupid and funny. You need to change the name of your company.
You got to change the name of your company.
If I think it's a good idea, you need to change your company
it's a terrible
name. Idea. Just I'll throw that out there.
What are we going to call it? Spooky Pictures sold.
Yeah.
How is that not taken? Is my question. How does a 7-year-old not have a trademark?
How did I not have that trademark?
Yeah, how does like an 8-year-old Fortnite player not just like Google Spooky Pictures, trademark it with $5 and be like, "This is my company."
Yeah, it was a choice, man, and I don't fully understand it. I was trying to look up what they have done.
Oh, it's not a new company, I guess.
Time. What's that?
Yeah, I thought from reading that, I thought it would have been a new company. I think it's interesting that, this isn't the first Scott Snyder project to be announced like that. Remember when they talked about witches?
Oh.
And we never got it? I think that was supposed to be on Amazon.
Well, that's my other thing is he's had comics in general have had so much stuff just allegedly adapted and everything, but we'll see if this even happens. I think this is likely to happen because now that I am looking over this man's producer credits, it's going to be one of these like low budget horror movies.
Okay.
I believe some of these you really like too, like VHS Beyond. Didn't you watch that?
Oh yeah, I did watch that. It was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Insidious, The Red Door.
Yeah, so Spooky Pictures is legit. Okay.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. So
good on Scott Snyder. I mean, I wish that guy all the fame and fortune. I mean, he's worked his ass off to get there. So, seeing the launch of his career from Batman to where he is now is kind of crazy.
This man, Steven Snyder, who named his company Spooky Pictures, is a former film critic and scholar with an MA degree. I assume that's master's. In philosophy from Harvard.
Okay.
And has a film studies diploma from the University of London. Wait. And the University of London. Oh, he has the MA degree philosophy from Harvard and London. His cinema studies degree is from New York University. So this man's been at some pretty esteemed universities, and he named his company Spooky Pictures.
Yep.
So maybe I'm not as dumb as I think, Mike.
Yeah, you might be pretty darn right genius, dude. I don't know. Maybe I'm dumb.
I like to think so.
Yeah. You just need more. You got to give yourself more credit, Chris. You're fucking genius. All right, we got some cool news coming up for comic books, everybody. More Godzilla news, which is never a bad thing for me, right? I think this might be the 4th week in a row of Godzilla news, which is like, keep it coming, baby.
I also want to say, I don't know if I said it on air or not, because I can't remember what I said on the show.
You did. You said it last week.
But I called this.
You did, for sure. If you said, I think word for word, you said, if they do the 90s and they don't do X-Men, you're dumb, Marvel. And they listened to you, Chris. Someone got the phone call. Marvel announced that the 4th Godzilla vs. title will release in May. It'll be Godzilla vs. the X-Men, looks to be set in the 90s with the X-Men team from the classic cartoon series. The issue will be written by Fabian Nicieza, with art by Emilio Leso. Amazing. When a robotics firm draws a kaiju's anger, the X-Men are called in to protect a world that hates and fears them from the counterattack of Godzilla. But what are the reasons of Godzilla's attacks? And are the X-Men on the right side? Follow the X-Men as they take on the King of Monsters before humanity sends forth Sentinels. Finish the job. Again, I will say these covers haven't been the absolute best. This one's cool, but it almost looks like all the X-Men heroes are drawn within like 10 minutes. But I want a little more detail on this stuff, but I think I am very excited
I like the one where it looks like he's looking into Krakoa, but there's no X-Men on it. So
I'm sorry,
that's why I like it.
Yeah, the main cover is the worst one. I would say the second cover that has the like the red stripe behind them and the far one that has just Wolverine jumping at, that one is epic. The one just Wolverine jumping at. The main one is like the main, and I think the first one we looked at, the main cover was like the weakest one.
The only thing I don't like about the second cover that with the red stripe is that he looks like a Bronchiosaurus.
Yeah, he kind of does.
So
yeah. But
the X-Men look cool.
Yeah, the X-Men look dope. That's how I imagine the '90s X-Men.
Yeah, I mean, I'm obviously all in on these.
No,
books.
I'm gonna read everyone's freaking
100%. There will be a Sentinel Mecha Godzilla.
Oh yeah. Oh hell yeah. I hope so. And the Quinjet, X-Jet is what they call it, versus Godzilla.
They're flying in the Quinjet, even though Storm can fly, but still use a jet.
Yeah, she's still got to use a jet.
I loved when I saw it. I'm like, yep, it's the exact 90s team. Mm-hmm. Like, it's literally from the cartoon, right?
Yeah, that's all you need.
Yeah, which makes sense. I mean, everyone's nostalgic for that version.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
I love it. I can't wait. Image Comics has announced that they're releasing a fully remastered version of Youngblood #1 titled Youngblood Deluxe #1. This issue was, of course, written and drawn by Rob Liefeld and promises to be rescripted, recolored, relettered, remastered to take their reader's experience to the next level. Chris, I can't remember this, but aren't we waiting for like a new project from Rob Liefeld?
Yes.
And if I remember correctly, Youngblood back in the day was like kind of a huge hit for Rob, and I don't think anybody's really looking for a rehashing, redrawing, or retelling of it.
He's got his hardcore fans. I know because they still comment on our fucking videos about Rob.
Yeah.
Dude, we had one on one of our shorts where I'm just shitting on Rob because he sucks. Telling us that we're ignorant millennials, which I thought was hilarious.
That's hilarious, yeah.
Yeah, it's a ripoff of X-Men, like 90% of early Image. And I don't care. But yeah, it has its fans, good for them. I'm sure, because they hired him to do a Youngblood thing again, because he no longer owns the rights, people, because he's terrible at his business. And so now he has to be hired to do his own creation.
It's crazy.
And obviously, we still haven't seen anything from that, even though they got announced, last summer?
Right. Yeah, a while ago. And I remember when we announced it, you said, I will be surprised if we see this ever leave ground. Yeah, or break ground.
He's had so much announced that he's allegedly drawing that for some reason or another just dissipates. And
I don't know how this guy keeps getting announcements in business.
Yeah, I mean, didn't you get enough money from the Levi ad to just leave me alone?
Oh man, I forgot about that. That's crazy. I think it's hilarious that like the next project coming out is just a retelling of what he already has.
I also just do you have to hype up a redone you're literally reprinting. You're doing a facsimile of the original Youngblood. Do you have to hype it up? Be like, it's recolored and relettered.
Yeah,
it's probably not.
No, it's really not. It was the 90s too. Like, come on.
And I can't wait.
Chris, there's still a million issues of this circulating.
Yeah. Dude, this I guarantee this book's worth nothing.
The facsimile editions of like Detective Comics 27. That's why you do that, because they're not in circulation anymore.
Let's see, Youngblood #1, GoCollect.com.
Yeah.
25 price of $250 when it was out.
Let's see.
Who the fuck would pay $50 for that book?
No way.
Fuck yourself. No way.
There's nobody's paying $50. Yeah. Anyways.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. I got you one right here. $5, Mike.
Okay, $5. There you go. Go out online, buy it for $5.
I believe that's cheaper.
I was gonna say, is that cheaper than what they're charging now? Let me look at the deluxe edition. So probably $3.99. Okay. So
another $1, and you got the original.
You could honestly find this in a dollar bin if you check out a few comic shops. I'm sure there's a Youngblood #1 in
there. Not that I would carry the way, but I can't wait for the big debacle to find out that the rescripted, recolored, relettered, remastered next level experience is all AI.
Oh, that too. Yeah. AI, or it's exactly the same.
Because that feels like a Liefeld move right there. And then
it's like, why does he have 6 fingers? Well, it's AI.
Yeah. And then he'll shit on some young up and coming creator who does a variant cover.
Yep. Classic.
That's what he does.
other Image Comics news, they announced a new anthology paperback titled True War Stories. This anthology is being edited, transcribed by Alex DeCampi and Iraq War veteran Kai Krumbar. It will feature stories from Peter Krause, PJ Holden, Skylar Partridge, Dave Acosta, and many more. A lot of those folks have been on the show before, if you've been listening for a while. True War Stories collects 15 true tales of American service people overseas, brings them to life in sequential storytelling form. They range from hilarious and heartwarming to heroic and sobering. Sobering? Sorry. Sobering. What the hell am I on? It focuses on the individual experience of people on deployment, the stories they want to tell, and nearly every branch of the military is represented. The stories are told by a mixture of active duty and retired soldiers. This isn't about politics or American foreign policy. It's about the people in uniform who tend to get forgotten and all that. True that. Proceeds from the book will be donated to services related to charities chosen by contributors and personally meaningful to them. Object Zero Foundation, Air Force Assistance Fund, the USO Armed Services Arts Partnership, Pause and Effect, and the Special Operations Warrior Foundation. This is an amazing project. And I do love that outside of whatever political affiliation, there always should be support and this type of funding and help for vets of all different backgrounds and service departments and things like that. This is a great idea. That's awesome.
Yeah, my motto has always been hate the war, not the warrior.
Yeah.
Yep. It's a cool idea. I love that Image Comics is doing this. And honestly, not something I'm not into war comics. I don't think you are either.
Yeah, I probably won't read it. But I think it's really cool that they're doing this.
Yeah, but if you are into war comics, you're out there listening, pick this one up because it's got some cool people doing stuff in it, and the money's going somewhere cool.
Yeah, really talented people. The money's going to a good cause, and you support your local comic shop. That's great.
Yeah, and I like that they got a vet to like help with the stories and like really kind of, because I'm sure he was able to add a few things that bring some realism to him.
Yeah, man, Image Comics hitting both sides of the spectrum. Something we love, something we hate. Thanks, Rob Liefeld.
And then something we helped get funded. Let's go on to the next one.
Yeah, Image Comics announced they're publishing former Kickstarter-funded comic Moonshine Bigfoot from writers Zach Howard and Mike Marlowe and artist Stephen Ellis. If you remember, I don't remember what, I think it was a couple years ago now, we talked about that.
Episode 313.
313, everybody.
I looked it up.
Okay. Almost 100 episodes ago, we talked about this book on Kickstarter. Well, now Image is like, well, this is already funded and it's a book. Why don't we just publish it? I don't know how you... Let's talk about that for a second, Chris. How do you feel about that?
Oh, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean...
All right, so we're going to if you haven't been here in 100 episodes, I'm going to retell the plot to that. Or you could just go to that interview and where we talk about the book. It's Buzzard County, 1981. The Moonshine Bigfoot spends his days making a living while outwitting clueless cops, reckless rivals, and buffoon Bigfoot hunters. All in a hunky-dory until he draws attention to the Illuminati-esque cabal. With his partner in life and crime, Amethyst, our hairy hero is about to learn that some problems can't be handled just by jumping them in a souped-up Mach 1. Yeah, so Moonshine, Muscle Cars, and Mayhem collide in this exciting new romp, perfect for fans of Rick Remender's The Scumbag, Sergio Aragon's Gru the Wanderer, and Alex Grickian's and Riley Rossmo's Proof. Yeah, so that's cool. I mean, that's huge for that, that crew, the creators. I wish them all the best on that. I think that's awesome that they're getting a second chance to be published a lot more wider than Kickstarter, so I think that's good for them. That's cool.
I like this and the reason I have an issue with it is so many creators have done it with like Scout Comics and a few others. And with the bottom kind of being killed right now, or at least that's coming, everybody prepare for it. It's cool to see a book that was originally funded on Kickstarter properly.
Right.
And what I mean by that is like Scott Snyder did that one book,
right.
Noctera, I think it was.
Yeah, Noctera.
That was always on Image. That was just him getting extra money.
Yeah.
And Berserk did the same thing. Like that was just them getting extra money from it. This was literally like they just went to Kickstarter and did it. Yeah. And now years later. So to see that that to me gives hope, even though Zach
Mhm.
and crew have worked in mainstream comics a lot, so it's not like they're just a nobody.
Right.
But that gives some hope that some of these bigger companies will look to Kickstarter in the future for maybe a hidden gem that they could bring to the mass market.
Yeah, it's a cool idea.
And yeah, so it was a fun. I remember the first issue we read. It was fun.
That was
time.
a lot of fun.
Yeah, episode 313. Go back and listen to it.
Yeah, 313. We've done a lot of these. Last piece of news here: Mad Cave Studios announced a new imprint called Nakama Press, which says it will focus on global storytelling by publishing comics from creators across the world. Its first title will be Indigo from writer Chi Ho Kwang and artist Chi Kit Kwang. And the synopsis is Ella is a reporter for an occult magazine, living what appears to be a normal life. She's not the best at getting along with people, but she has a special ability that sometimes know what other people are thinking. She also possesses an extreme sensibility which enables her to communicate with plants and animals. One day, Ella learns of a strange death of her college professor and beloved mentor, who seems to have committed suicide by starving to death. Instinct draws Ella to investigate the real cause of the professor's death, which gradually unfolds as a series of mysterious incidents which surpass Ella's wildest imagination. As she investigates further, Ella encounters people who slowly guide her closer to the truth, which cause alternate forces to try and stop her pursuit. With help, Ella overcomes all odds, and in the process discovers she must fulfill her destiny and decide the fate of humanity, Earth, and the universe. I do like the idea of bringing creators in from all over the world. The art for this looks absolutely amazing. It looks very, it's very manga style, but I will say, like, just from like the promo images of the universe and stuff, this looks amazing. I mean, it looks like almost like a slice of life book, but then you have this like sci-fi-esque thing going on in the background. I'll probably check this one out. It sounds awesome.
Yeah, I think it looks really cool, and it's like you said, it's got that Asian style to it because manga style, but the creators are from Hong Kong, I think it was.
Yep.
Cool story, great art, and it fits that bill of like it just looks quality.
It looks real quality. The art looks amazing.
Just Mad Cave keep announcing cool shit. So
yeah, keep doing it. Keep it up.
Yeah.
With that, let's get to what we read this week. I read a total of 3 books, so that was pretty cool. I guess I'll start with the new Rick Remender book, because I did want to talk about that. I checked out the season number 1. Rick Remender, Paul Azaceta on the art. I was always a huge fan of Paul when he did Outcast with Kirkman back in the day. That was Paul Azaceta art. I actually had a signed poster of him somewhere. I think it's in with all my comic stuff. So it's a really interesting issue. I would say less action than I typically see from Rick. He does a really cool thing. So they say it's the 20s. It's like the 1920s. But did you read it?
No.
So it almost has that Batman animated series Gotham feel, to where it's like it could be the 20s of our time, or it could be the 20s of a futuristic time. But it's like old school male people, like mail carriers, but then like one of the cleaning guys in the city has like a jetpack, but it's like steampunky. So it's the
20s futurism.
Yeah, 20s futurism.
Like how Fallout's like 50s futurism.
Yeah, exactly. It's really cool. I think the characters, the art is amazing. I think Paul's art is amazing, because usually you see him like horror stuff, but the colors are all like a spring, like an Easter palette. Light blues, some pinks and purples. So there's these sisters. There's 4 girls named after the seasons. That's what's called the seasons. So there's like spring, there's fall, winter, and summer. And the issue starts off with this town. This like circus comes to town with these weird clown-looking people, and they almost like everybody is either dead in this city or like disappears. They lose all communication with them from the like outside world. And then we focus on this new character. I believe this one's spring or summer, but she's like a mail carrier, and she's like delivering letters. And she gets a letter from her sister saying like you need to watch out, we're in danger. something about their parents, and you need to get out before they get there. And then we see that circus show up in her town, and they're very creepy. We don't know what they're there for. And if I had to describe it, Chris, it was almost like a Studio Ghibli movie, which is not bad. Like it was really interesting. I'll probably keep up with it. It's not what I expected, and the characters are kind of interesting. The art is absolutely phenomenal. So I highly recommend it if anybody wants to check it out for that. Redcoat number 9. I do love that we turn the corner into this like anthology of like historical fiction characters, right? So this one was with his like buddy with Johnny Appleseed back in the day. They accidentally create this giant worm, like they grew this apple, and then there's a giant worm inside it, so they had to like fight it. And then I think next issue we're getting Annie Oakley or something like that. This is a lot of fun. I think this is a cool like stopping point or like skipping along point for Redcoat. As we pick up the story in Geiger maybe, and then they'll meet up eventually. But I mean, this book's a lot of fun. I think this was a cool interaction.
Yeah, and Jeff does a great job of setting up how he can come back to cool adventures with Johnny Appleseeds in the future.
Like he'll show up at some point, right?
Like, we could definitely just do like a one shot down the line or a longer story down the line.
Yeah.
And everything. So I had a lot of fun with it.
That was a lot of fun. And the last book I got to this week was Hyde Street number 3. I think you talked about this already. It's the Christmas issue. But I think the interesting thing was we get this new character involved that like was fighting everybody over the souls, and he's like a Frankenstein character almost.
Yeah,
he's like a hooded guy that's thwarting the other serial killers that are part of Hyde Street. I want to know more about him, and also Mr. X is finally planning on killing Pranky, so there's a rivalry still going on there. I do really love this series. I just wish we got more of it. I want to know more about this stuff. These characters. I'm invested with that. Besides reading this, I'm on volume 2 of the Magic manga, Destroy All Humans, They Can't Be Regenerated. About halfway through it, really enjoying it. We're progressing the relationship between the kids and how they play Magic, and the Magic has gotten a lot more intense. It's more like Yu-Gi-Oh, where there's like monsters, battling it out while they're playing the cards, which is kind of cool to see. So, really enjoying that.
Yeah, that showed up too.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, there's also another manga, Mega Man manga called Little Mega Man.
Okay,
I don't know what it's about, but it's a Mega Man manga.
It sounds awesome. It's amazing.
Let's see. I got a couple. Moon Knight Fist of Khonshu number 4.
Nice.
Moon Knight's gone underground because he's been accused of taking over this drug trade, and we know that's not true because the bad guy did it.
Mm-hmm.
And long story short, Moon Knight just goes full bore and takes out a whole bunch of these underground creatures, and then goes to the big bad guy and just like, you said that you could beat me, and he was an ex-boxer or something. He's like, you could beat me in the ring, let's prove it. And I guess the next issue is going to be Moon Knight boxing some dude.
That's awesome.
So it was a cool issue. Star Wars: A New Legacy, number 1. This is cool. It's 3 stories, all based in different creators' characters that they told over the past 10 years of Star Wars comics. So it was Charles Soule, Jason Aaron, Kieran Gillen. We got an Dr. Aphra story.
Oh, cool.
We got a Vader story, and then we got a Squadron 99 story. I think I said this going into it, but if you haven't been reading Star Wars for the past 10 years, you're probably not getting much out of it, but I really enjoyed it. So that's that. West Coast Avengers number 3.
Nice.
So I don't know if you remember, Mike, but there's 2 Ultrons now.
Oh yeah.
So
I forgot you told me that.
This sets up why there's 2 Ultrons, and basically Ultron split into many different Ultrons, and they all agreed not to share a hive mind. They're gonna live their own lives, and some of them go off into space and do their thing. But these 2 go back to Earth, and they're going to do their thing on Earth their way. And one is the good Ultron that we have on the Avengers team, and then one is the not so good Ultron, who has decided that he's going to adapt angel wings and start a cult, basically, and that's how he's going to take over the world, is by slowly transforming people into androids.
Amazing.
And then after we get that, that's when we get like kind of the fight. There's a certain character that shows up in issue 1 that we find out was turned into one of these androids, just like a rando on the street. And now we have to deal with the consequences of that moving forward. So it was a fun issue.
Nice.
Rome Eternal number 2. This is all the different people that are dressed up like gods are attacking Rome. And we find out that not only did the Caesar get murdered at some point, but the main guy that we've been seeing this whole time was actually somebody from the inside working with the Caesar the whole time. And he has this whole plan to take power in Rome by killing him. So he was using this like rebellion group to do that. And our lead character, who thought he was getting revenge for his father, has realized he's been used for this whole thing. So it's a really cool turnaround for the story. And a really interesting book.
Nice.
Hellhunters number 2.
Sick.
So if you remember, number 1 was the origin story of the Ghost Rider from World War II. And this is the let's get the team together issue. So Hell Rider runs into the Howling Commandos as they are in this book, which is like Dun Dun Dugan, Nick Fury, some dude who's kind of a Sorcerer Supreme, but uses magic and creates a magic gun. Okay. And explains in this book that he doesn't have a gun. But then when he explains it, everybody's just like, you just described a gun, dude. And then the Ghost Rider shows up. And obviously he doesn't have full control of his powers because he just became Ghost Rider. They find somebody being attacked by a bunch of Nazis. So they go and help him. And this person that needs help is none other than Wolverine.
Nice.
And so Wolverine joins the crew. And they explain to him, like, hey, there's these evil Nazis that have, like, a horse demon powers. Do you want to help us kill them? And Wolverine's like, sure, why not? The rest of my crew's dead, so I'll go help you guys. And then I finished volume 1 of the Batman Hush collection.
Oh, cool.
So I'm going through that. And this ends with the big fight between Batman and Superman, if you remember that part.
Yep.
Yeah, it's actually got me excited for Hush 2, Mike.
Oh, yeah?
Just because Jim Lee interior art.
Okay, yeah. That's the best part about it.
Yeah. And the story's fun. Killer Croc's in it. Poison Ivy plays a big part. And it's funny, in this whole first volume, you see Hush in 3 panels the whole time. And he's in the background. But at this point, if you've never read Hush before, you don't know who he is. Yeah. But since I'm coming back to Hush, I know it's Hush.
Right.
And yeah. And then there was a big funny moment in here too that I really liked. Oh, how they explained away that Batman basically gave away Superman's secret identity to Catwoman.
Oh, yeah.
Because they had to use Lois to get him out of a trance from Poison Ivy. And then Superman's just like, so like, how did she know to take Lois? And he's like, well, I just told her to go to the Daily Planet and get somebody. She just happened to grab Lois. And it's like continuity. I get it.
Yeah.
And also Crypto the Superdog shows up in this.
Hell yeah, he does.
So they like enter Poison Ivy's hotel to capture her, and she runs for the door. When she opens the door, there's just a floating dog there. It was just
love it.
Good stuff. So I'm getting excited for Hush 2. I'll be reading volume 2 of this, moving into Hush 2. So.
Nice.
Mike, that was everything I read this week. Where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me at Fortress Ricker on Twitter. Where can they find you and or the show?
You can find me at Fortress Chris on any social media network. Pick it. I'm there. Also, chriscomicscorner.substack.com. You can find the show at Fortress Pod on most social media networks as well, and also at fortressofcomicnews.com. If you want to support the show, 5-star reviews and podcatchers, like, subscribe, share, comment down below on the YouTube version on patreon.com/fortresscomics. Thank you all so much for watching and or listening this week. We'll see y'all here next week.
See ya.